Welcome back to the Crochet Carousels, my friends over at yarnspirations.com. Today we're going to start a mandala throw, and this is part of the mandala series. This is a stitch long. This is video number 1. In video number 1, what we're going to do is we're going to do a gauge check to make sure that you've got the right size hook as you go. Each one of us have different tensions and it can change the way things are. Now you want to do a gauge check when there's things that go in a circle or even in a square where it starts off in the middle and works its way outward, because if your gauge is off it can cause it to buckle and it can also cause it to ruffle as well. So you want to get it pretty close to where we need to go. So we have some additional materials for you today. This is video number 1. We're not actually going to get started on the project today. I want you to do a gauge test, but I also want you to see what I have for you as well, just in case you want to play with us with this stitch along. So Daniel and I have created you a little worksheet in order to start. It's a 2-pager, and what we're going to do is that we're going to start off, and I'm just going to quickly talk about how this is going to work up. We're going to be talking about the yarn. We got some different ideas. Also I got you a coloring sheet just in case you want to color in and figure it out. Also we want to make a mention of our gauge. So let's go over the color sequence first. So as much as this afghan can look random, it's actually in a set color sequence, and the reason why they're doing it is that they want to yield as much yarn as possible to the project without a lot of waste. So what they have us doing is that they have it going in a certain order. So as much as you think it's just randomly there, it's not. So what we have here, and it's been written on the pattern as well, it shows all the colors in sequence, and once you do it once you're gonna repeat once more time, and then what we need to do then is just finish off at the end. So you can see that it's really quite a project that is well thought out. There's actually 7 balls of yarn, which is one of each color, so 7 different colors. And what we have here is that this is written on the pattern as well, is that you have all the colors that are listed here in using Red Heart with Love. Myself, I'm going to be using a Bernat Super Value in order to do mine, and what Daniel came up with is a different mix here. It's a Topaz Marine. I kept my colors. When I say Daniel and I did it, this is kind of our choice. We wanted kind of an idea that it was kind of more marine-ish in some way. It's kind of like a lake meets the sand meets the trees. Could be very tropical as well. So mine's not going to have any red colors inside this. So you can come up with your own colors that you see here, and that's where page number 2 comes into play. So on page number 2 what we did is that we just looked at this, and Daniel just kind of traced a really rough idea on the round circle. So if you look at the round circle here, he just kind of traced it out on Illustrator and created this. So what we have here is that these are the colors that I have chosen for myself. They're pretty close to what we wanted, but what I wanted to do is lay it down on here and determine if it's gonna work or not. And remember, there is a sequential order. So this gives me an idea all the way out here of what it's gonna look like. So what we did is that we took out the colors like so. If you want to get some pencil crayons or crayons and like to trace out your colors, you can see how it's gonna work. So I listed what the color is, so A, B, C, A, B, and so it gives you an idea of what things. So if you color this one with A, this one will be A. If you want to change the color sequence in any way possible, you can do so. Just remember, it does change your yarn, and we don't have an immediate solution on what yarns you're going to need more of if you decide to change the sequence. So I'm gonna leave that in your capable hands. So what we need to do in order to get started is that we have to figure out what our gauge is. So the gauge is the actual stitches, and I'm gonna take you to there in just a second right here. So it says rounds 1 and 3 is about 4 inches. So it's about 4 inches across here. It's a round circle, and I want to check the gauge using any size hook to achieve the gauge. So in order to get this gauge, we have to try for a 6.5 millimeter size K first with your prescribed yarn that you want to do. So I figured that Red Heart with Love and Bernat Super Value is pretty close. You can also use Red Heart Super Saver if you wish as well. And then once you figure out what your hook size is going to be, you're just going to write it here and then save it for another time. While we're doing the gauge, we're not going to be wasting any yarn. So once this is done, we take our measurement, we frog this out, meaning to take it out, and then we'll be using it again inside your project. So this is not a waste of what we're about to do. So let's do a gauge test, and the gauge test is based on rounds number 1 and 3. So let's just take you to the diagram and show you that next. So each one of these particular projects that we're about to do, it's in 4 weeks. So this is gonna be week number 1 and the pattern is already available to you, so I don't mind showing you in advance. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do round number 1, 2 and 3, and then this after we get the third, it should be about 4 inches. Now you're going to notice in this particular one, X is actually a single crochet, so it's just an older way of writing these kind of diagrams. So X marks the spot for a single crochet. What I'm gonna be doing here is as we do a gauge check, I'm gonna show you, instead of fastening off like it shows the different colors, I want you to keep the same color and just slip stitch over in order to get this information so that you don't have to waste any yarn, so you can pull it apart and then use the yarn again. So we're gonna start off by chaining a total of 6 and then join it to the ring, chain 3, and then there is a total of 12 of these double crochets that have chain 1s that separate them. So when we chain 3, you're gonna add an extra one, so it's chain 4 and just go all the way around. Finally then in round number 2, we're just gonna have you slip stitch and then move over, single crochet, chain 2, and then we're single crocheting in each of the chain 1 spaces. And then finally for number 3, we're gonna immediately chain 3, and in each of these chain 2 spaces we're gonna put 2 double crochet with a chain 1 that separates it, and then take our measurement. So let's get started, and I'm using a 6.5 millimeter size K crochet hook that is suggested in the video in the project. Before we begin, you'll notice the letter D. So what I did is that when I matched it up and figured out my colors, I labeled each one of the ball bands with the letter that will match. So when I'm just working on this, if I'm not like having the best conditions of light, I just look for the letter and the letter, and then that will match here. So whatever colors you choose, just mark it on your ball and it will be easier for you to reference later. So let's do your gauge check for the mandala, and we want to start off with the slip knot. This is an intermediate level project, but I think an experienced beginner or really somebody that's that interested probably can pick it up too. So you start off with the slip knot and chain 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and slip stitch to the first one, and then yarning over, pulling it through and through so you have the center ring. Leave the straggler around the center. That's just normal practice, even though we're gonna pull this out, and I want you to chain 4. So 1, 2, 3 is your double crochet, and the 4th is a chain 1 space, and I want you to double crochet into the center of that ring, and then chain 1, and then double crochet again into the center of that ring, and chain 1, and keep on going like that until you can see 12 of these double crochets that circle it. So make sure there's a chain 1. I'll see you at the end of this round. When you get all the way around, just make sure you chain 1 after the last double crochet, and then slip stitch it to the 3rd chain up and bring together. So we're not gonna cut any loose ends because I wanna save those. So right where we are is the wrong place to start for number 2. So normally I would just like have to cut the color and then begin a new color, but I'm not going to. So I just want you to slip stitch into the chain 1 space and then begin round number 2. Round number 2 is simple. Chain 1 and single crochet into that same space, and then chain 2 and come to the next chain 1 space and single crochet, and then chain 2 and single crochet the next space, and please do that all the way around for round number 2. When you get all the way around, make sure you chain 2 after the last one here, and then just slip stitch to the beginning single crochet. We're gonna do our final round now, and we're going to slip stitch to the chain 2 space, and normally we'd be cutting the color now, but we're gonna chain up 3, which will be your first double crochet, and then double crochet into the same space. So each one of these chain 2 spaces are going to have 2 double crochet, and there will be a chain 1 that separates them. So I just chained 1 and come to the next space for 2 double crochet, and chain 1, and then come to the next one, 2 double crochet, and then chain 1, and please do that all the way around, and then we're gonna slip stitch and then take our measurement to determine our gauge. Okay, once you do your final 2 double crochet, just chain 1 and then slip stitch it to the top of the chain 3 and then hold. So don't finish anything off now. Now we're gonna take a measurement. So with your tape measure, you should measure across, and it's 4 inches. Do you see that? So I would only be a little bit concerned if it was like 4 3/4. Okay, I would be a little concerned if it was that, and I would also be a little bit concerned if it was measuring to about 3.5 inches across. So if as long as within a good tolerance, you see. So if you can see here, it's not buckling, it's just kind of folding up, but it normally does that anyway in crochet because that's just the way it is. But if you're seeing anything that's really kind of weird, like it really wants to pull in, or it's starting to look all ruffly, then you know that there's a problem. If it's looking all ruffly, that means that your tension is too big. So that means you want to reduce your hook so that it will tighten it up. Okay, so you want to do that. If it's starting to really buckle on you, then you might want to increase your crochet hook size. There's really nothing good after 6.5 millimeters until a size 8, so you gotta watch that if you're gonna do that. And if anything, you might just have to relax if it's too tight as well. So once you've done that, I've confirmed that, so I'm just gonna go back to my worksheet that I have here. And so you want to put this with your notes, is that I am confirming that I have a 6.5 millimeter or K size crochet hook as my tension, and I can put this aside with my notes when I'm going to do it. You can print the pattern at any time if you're feeling ambitious. You can start at any time, and once you've understand your gauge, then just rip this out and then enjoy. And we will see you on the first day, which will be December 26th of 2019, as we kick off a 4-week Mandala stitch along with you. Until next time, have a good one, and we hope to see you playing along with us this time. We'll have a great day, and we'll see you again real soon. Bye bye.